Seaton rants about the calendar. Kabam Mike wants a new fighting zone, and we've got a new champion confirmed for July. Hi everybody, welcome back, and it is indeed MCOC news time. We've got a jam-packed show focusing on so many things of the community. And before going anywhere, please hit the like button and subscribe for Marvel Contest of Champions based content, including the news here, and answer our question of the day. Are you actually happy to see this version of a Spider-Man suit, or would you prefer to see something else? Especially because I know a lot of you would have loved to have seen the Iron Spider, or at least the Spider-Man 2099 version of the Spider-Man suit. But without further ado, let's jump into the 3rd June Monday edition of Marvel Contest of Champions news. This and this very much feel a big problem for me at the moment. Two stories that I really wanted to cover, and I think one has been merged into something else, which will be a second topic that we'll talk about in a moment. But the fact is something I want to talk about drop rates with gold crystals. This is an image that we covered on Saturday's Marvel Contest of Champions news weekend, where we kind of looked at, okay, some good pulls, but at the same time, gold crystals, oh man, they seem to be a little bit trollish for people. The last 3 that I have done, I have got the least amount of gold possible, which is 4,800 gold. Some are picking up some good stuff, and others are picking up some really decent. But for a lot of players in a discussion that was closed, which I was trying to get for reference points, unfortunately is not there anymore. Now, I was collecting the story on Saturday, and now it's a case that for Monday it's not there. The main thing and real big point that I want to come to is there must have been something said on it, number 1, or number 2, the developer wanted to hide this away from people seeing it. Either way, I am disappointed because I did want to have this as an open topic to people to kind of discuss whether or not I feel that gold crystals are actually worth going for. Personally, at the moment, no, not for me, and I don't think for a lot of players they are. So basically a waste of units. Next up, and a little reminder, we've only got limited time before the Avengers Forever, as well as the quest for Save the Battle Realm is no more. If you're grinding out these things to get the final amounts of those ever delightful last stand crystal shards, then do this as soon as possible. We've got until Wednesday, and there's a lot of content in game, especially when it comes to the Halls of Fortune, where it costs energy, which we didn't obviously want to like. It should have been free, but the fact is you will find a lot of your energy spend going up. So will you be spending more on those energy refills? More than likely. But remember to get it done before Wednesday, 6 PM my time, which I think is like 10 AM PST time, whatever time it is with you. Check your clocks, check your reminders, make sure you get it done. Next up, and we're embracing guidance. Yes, the 12th of June marks the return or the continuation of Act 6. We've got Act 6.2. So it's time to grind. Now the juicy things are the rewards. Have they scaled up from 6.1? The answer is yes. Not extremely, but what Kabam feel is enough. For some players, they'll be satisfied with this. With others, they'll be chomping at the bit for more. Also, there's the opportunity to earn a Legends title. And for those that did 6.1 in the Legend time frame, unfortunately, they were not getting the instant gratification of that very rare 6-star champion. It will only be at the end of the Act 6.4, whenever that's released, you actually get that champion. For some, they'll be happy with that, and obviously for the people, actually most people that have come out with complaints after, they ain't going to be very happy. But it's a waiting game. Continuing with bad taste in the mouth, class and rarity gates. Yes, the things that are quite annoying, a little bit frustrating, and do mean that you've got to have an extensive roster, mainly at higher rank, in order to feel that you're doing this more comfortably. Yes, we have come to that point of the game. It's not good. The Act 6.2 buffs have been confirmed. You can go to the link in the description and it'll take you to there, so you can list off all of them yourself. Let's face it, there's going to be some there that are a little bit painful, and some that are going to be really beneficial if you play your cards rightly and play your champions correctly. For example, playing about with Fury and Icarus by doing parries seems really darn fun, so I'm quite excited for this particular buff on the particular quest it's associated with. One positive out of this seems to be the way that Kabam redistributes chapter rewards. Instead of it being about the big 100% completion, there's going to be micro little bits that you can pick up along the way, which is handy for resource gaining at a quicker rate. 6.2 drops a week after the Namor and Invisible Woman event starts. So that is going to be incredibly exciting, and we're making that next progression to completing off the story mode. Finally, for those interested in some little tidbits of information, Cabal Mike even says in certain aspects, your ghosts and your corvuses won't be very usable. That's great. My newly acquired corvus at rank 5 star, as well as my ghost at 6 star, which I recently picked up and I'm very proud of, aren't very usable. Thanks, Mike. Love you. In other news, lads and ladies and gentlemen, we have a video by Seaton talking about his thoughts on the whole kind of calendar situation. The fact it hasn't really upscaled, it doesn't really represent the changes in game, and the fact is it falls behind. This swiftly brings us on to the topic of whether or not we feel that players that have reached a certain point, the end game, the veteran, are actually getting 5 and 6 star shards. Because if you remember rightly, recently Cabal Mike said that you were getting more 5 and 6 star shards. Well, if you've got lots of money and you buy Cavalier crystals regularly, then yes. But anything else than that, if you're a free-to-play player, if you're a person that doesn't extensively grind out arena, then the answer is no. Which then leads us back to the point, are we fully represented with a calendar like this? Yes and no. For those that say yes, basically point out the fact that this is free stuff, and you're not really entitled to kind of moan about it. For those that are saying no, it is largely based on the fact that this calendar doesn't really show any kind of evolution in the fact of improvement. When you start throwing a bone, especially when it comes to November, December and January times, because let's face it, that's when the calendar gets on sweet. But having that for 3 months of a year against 9 months of the year, it just doesn't really kind of balance up, especially when you're looking at the sentiment. Again, like Cabal Mike said, that 5 and 6 star shards are more obtainable. That definitely doesn't feel the case if you're a free-to-play player that doesn't grind out arena, and as well is Cavalier status. And Cavalier status is meant to be that real jump up. Not extensively, but enough to really see what the sentiment by the developer is said to what we receive in game. But in any case, I could be completely wrong, Seaton could be completely wrong, everybody else could be completely wrong. What is your takeaway from this? What are your thoughts? Have them in the comment section below, or go to the link in the description and have your say on the forum. And now it's time for our character fact of the day, and this one is all about Sue Storm, Miss Invisible Woman. Now, do you remember the time that Human Torch and Sue Storm swapped powers? No? I'm going to tell you now. So, Zeus, leader of the group of Galactus refugees, kidnaps Susan. His intent was to use her powers to hide planets from Galactus. Reed finds a way to fool Zeus by switching Susan and Johnny's powers. Susan assists in an adventure where Johnny becomes a herald of Galactus, wielding a cosmic version of her powers. Johnny is able to see through people to the very core of their personality. Both Sue and Johnny gain a newfound respect of each other and how they deal with their powers. Soon, Reed tries to switch the powers back. The entire Fantastic Four's powers are granted to 4 random civilians before being restored to their rightful wielders. This parallels an earlier torture by Doom, where Sue was given an extremely painful version of Johnny's pyrokinetic ability. Oh, the Fantastic Four and their weird power swapping abilities. Next, and as you know, we're going Andadasi for a special event which is very much focused on Atlantis, or Atlantean people, just a Submariner, something like that. But it got a lot of you to talking about the idea of changing stages in order to go in time with certain events, which, as you know, the kind of fighting stages in the background are getting a bit stale and a bit repetitive, especially if you do arena a lot of the time and you just kind of say, right, I've seen the same thing time and time again, every fight I go into, and it's getting a little bit boring. So what about the idea of going underwater with the fight? Well, the question was posed at Cabal Mike, and his answer was, that would be great. Could you make it happen? That would be great. Just stoke some fires, you know. Kick some people, slap people in the face, just slap people in the workplace. I'm sure it'll be fine, don't worry about it, just do it. And obviously there has to be some smart aleck that goes, oh yeah, can't be water, otherwise they drown. I don't think it's going to work like that, mate. I really don't, but the fact is they could have just done something where just like dried out a little bit, some water cascading over. You know, it could be absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be completely submerged underwater. Get a sub down there or something. And on to our final story, and it looks like we are getting a Spider-Man stealth suit version. Now, I'm very much on the fence with my thought process around this, especially with other types and versions of Spider-Man that I'd like to see in the game. Obviously, Mysterio is guaranteed. We knew we were getting that. But with this version here, I'm still a little bit unsure. I'm sure they'll probably make it in a way that he's very powerful, but let's face it, we'd love to see an Iron Spider version that is also a little bit more advanced and at the same time maybe something that's very much reminiscent of the Spider-Man 2099 version that a lot of players have been calling out for a very long time. This has very much hit me for 6, but I do feel that this was something that could have come. If you've watched my puzzle video, you know that I did talk about maybe the idea of this coming into the game, and it was very much a big surprise to see that this would be the case. And as I said, the topic of this is to discuss in the comment section whether or not you feel that you're happy to see this. Will you and do you feel that this could be a game changer type version of Spider-Man? Will it be lightly forgotten, especially considering that there are so much stronger versions in the game currently? Or will this be the standout, the new OP version of Spider-Man? Your thoughts in the comment section below. There we have it. That has been the Marvel Contest of Champions news for Monday the 3rd of June 2019. As you know, I've got a lot on personally at the moment, and as a result I can't get certain things like the arena predictions into most of these videos. Only a case I can do round ones, and also that will be on Wednesday, so do look out for that. Also keep locked to Marvel Contest Champions True Course for up-to-date arena information, and as well see you in a stream which will be slightly later based on stuff that I've got going on at the moment, so hopefully you see the notifications. So subscribe with post notifications on. That would be brilliant. Thanks very much for watching. I shall catch you again. Bye bye.